All right, everybody. I thought I'd give you a little bit of a heads up on this thing I'm working on called MultiDash. And for many of you know, I run some media servers. And while each one of these media servers has a dedicated dashboard page that lets you have a lot of control and insight into what the servers are doing, there isn't a solution that I've found out there that allows you to do the same kind of monitoring and control of the servers, regardless of their server type, whether it's Emby, Plex, or Jellyfin, from a single pane of glass. And that's was sort of my aim here, was to try to get something working that did that. So I have this standing on an HTML server on my local network. I'm working on getting it Dockerized, but I'm not very good at Docker. So if I have any Docker gurus out there that want to help me test it, that'd be great. Um, but for now, this is running on my internal network on a web server. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new user here after I've gone to the page where the application lives. And let's give it a little, to make sure it's a long password. Now I can create this account, and this is going to be the first page that you see when you get there. Is it's going to allow you to create a username and start off with a blank dashboard. If you have, for whatever reason, moved this to a different system and have taken a backup, you can also restore the system that you had from a backup. When you create these backups, it will, of course, download a zip file to your computer. That will have all of your server information in it, your user information in it, but passwords and API keys and Plex tokens are all hashed. So there's no reason that anybody should be able to see those. So we're going to create an account, and it's going to say it's done. And here we are at our dashboard. So this is what a virgin dashboard looks like. There's no information really apart from your home button, which basically reloads the site, your username, and when you click on it, it's going to let you know who else is on your dashboard, who's active on the dashboard, in case you want to give other users the ability to help you administrate or manage your servers. There are two roles: administrator, which is what we're logged in as, which has all kinds of control over what you're able to do to the servers, and viewers, which basically just let people see who's watching what. Okay, so we have our inactivity timer here, letting you know that after 30 minutes of no keyboard or mouse activity, it will log you out. And we have our menu. And our menu goes through a few different things. There's light and dark modes, depending on what your preference is. You can add and reorder your servers. You can manage your users. You can create and manage your SSH keys. You can see your system logs. You can back up and restore your configuration. And of course, you can panic and totally reset everything to 0, and you can log out. So let's go to the SSH for a second. This is important for Linux servers. This allows you to get application layer control over your servers. So Emby and Jellyfin both have the ability to restart their programs via the API, the web API. Plex does not. So this gives you the ability to tell all three architectures to start, stop, and restart the service directly from the operating system layer. It does this by using a non-interactive shell through SSH back to your server. It does this through a very strong SSH key pair. And it also locks down that user that gets created. We have a media service user that gets created. It only allows them to execute these stop, start, and restart commands for the servers, plus a couple of other stats gathering things like uptime, load, and your memory and CPU usage. So we can go here and create that we want to generate a new key pair. We can say confirm. This will only work for Linux. Windows, it's a whole other complicated thing I have to figure out. So now we've got our very strong SSH key here, and we can save that for later when we're adding SSH access to a server that we are creating. So let's go ahead and add a server. So I'll go in here and I'll say add server. We're going to call this MB number 1, and it is of course an MB server. And I will go ahead and add my private IP. And I'm also going to need to grab my API key and you can go inside your Emby dashboard and you can get your API key. You can create one right for this application if you want. There we go. We'll say it's a Linux operating system, and we're going to use SSH port 22. Again, this is for security. You can change your SSH configuration on your server to be whatever port you like. Because this is only happening on my internal network, and I'm not very much concerned about people having access to the Linux servers via SSH internally, I'm going to say that's fine, and we're going to add the server. And you're going to say it's added server MB number 1, and here we go. It's idle. Nobody's playing anything. So let's go and add another server, and I'll grab my API key for that one, and you'll see what it looks like when we have 2 servers on. So let's go ahead and add a server, and we'll call this MB number 2, and it is also MB, and we'll put in our private IP address and port, and we're going to put in our API key for that. It's also Linux. It's also running on port 22. So we're going to go ahead and add that, and it says that we've added MB number 2, and we can see them both there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start playing something on the MB servers, and maybe I'll start playing something on both. That way we'll get an indication. You'll see it's popped up and has told you that I'm already playing on the one. So let's go ahead and start playing this on the other one, and we'll have some activity popping up in a second. We'll go to this one here where it says that I'm already playing something, and if I click on it, you'll see that I've got my libraries here. Well, let's go from the top. It's a Linux server by the little penguin. This is the server name. This is the version of Emby that it's running. This link will actually open the real Emby dashboard if you want to get into some super finite controls. This is letting us know that we have not set up the SSH user, which we'll do in a second. And we'll see that these buttons will change. Right now, we can restart the Emby server via an API call. We can check for an update. We can edit the server configuration in here, or we can delete the server. Here we have our libraries, and we can actually, by clicking these buttons, we can trigger a library scan as well. Here we see the user that is playing something right now, and if I click on it, it's going to give me some really detailed information. It's going to give me the path and the file name. So sometimes we want to know exactly where that file is stored and what it's being served as. It's going to let me know that it's being played and that it's transcoding or direct play. And if we go back to our servers, why is this one not showing you? Oh, it helps if I put in the full IP address. Eh? I guess that would help. Jeez. Yes, user error, folks. There's still no fix for user error. So let's see. It says it updated it. Oh yeah, look at that. So we've got somebody playing that, and we've got me playing this. Now, if we go back to servers, we're going to see in a moment that's going to pop up that there's 2 people playing. So there we go. Now, the other thing you can do with these servers is you can reorder them. So if we go and click on reorder servers, these little drag handles appear, and you can move the servers around in a row depending on how you like them. So if you have other servers, they'll show up, and you can move them as well. You say we're done reordering, and then it just goes back to your regular view. These are searchable. So let's say you want to search for my user, Topocles. If I start typing up here, TOP, you'll see that my user is playing something on this Emby server. And if I click on it, it's going to show you, here I am. But it also searches on media. So if somebody's saying, oh, I'm watching Deep Impact, you can come up here and start typing Deep, and there you go. It's going to show you that there's Deep Impact is playing, and there it is. And you can get in there and see whether they're playing or paused, or if there's it's a way for if you don't know the user but you know the media that's being played, you can look at it that way. Not super helpful, I guess, but maybe it is. Maybe it is. All right, well, let's go to this server here because I have an SSH session open here, and we're going to go ahead and add the user, the SSH user. So when you click this, it's going to have a unified command that's basically going to go back to your web server, grab the setup script and insert your key. So, and create the user. So we're going to copy that. We're going to go over here. And we're going to say, go ahead and grab it. It's going to do a few things in here. It's going to create the user media service. It's going to configure the SSH key. It's going to configure the sudoers file and lock down SSH. So what that means is, again, it's not an interactive shell. It can't log in. You can only send commands via this SSH tunnel. And the commands that you can send are only verified commands that we have said, like stop and restart, and get some basic system stats. So let's verify this connection over here. You'll see it says it's verified, controls are enabled, and we'll get some cool new things up here. We'll have our server stats with uptime, CPU usage, load, your RAM load, a network summary, as well as how much Emby itself is using. And you can refresh those stats. They don't auto refresh just because it's sometimes you don't necessarily want to see it all the time. You want to be able to refresh it without having to waste resources by just listening to those requests. We have two new buttons up here. You can see it's a stop and a restart button. And while we still have the ability to restart Emby based on its API, now we have operating system level control over that process. So if we go back into here and we say, we're going to set up a quick monitor. Actually, let's do it. Yeah, where it'll watch this command or every second. It's going to do a system control status Emby server service. So every second it's going to show you that Emby is up here and it's active. So if we go ahead and hit restart over here, we're going to see it go into deactivating mode and then active. And you saw it over here. It said it was restarting really quickly. So that's what's happened. It's actually at an operating system level. It's restarted that Emby service. So it gives you a little bit more control over what's happening. So we can also stop the service. So let's go ahead and stop it, and we'll look over here, and you'll see that it's gone into deactivating mode and then inactive. And over here now we only have a play button for starting. So let's go ahead and start the service. And you'll see there it goes into active mode, and it'll come back and show us all the cool information. So one of the other things now we can look at is your system logs. System logs will open up into a fresh window. You can see here where it was erroring out while Emby was being restarted. And what you can do in this log too is you can, if you want to look for things, you can filter it. So we can filter on uh, restart, for example, REST. There it's only showing you restart commands. You can also search based on these levels of errors as well. So you can search on, just limit it to authorization only, or give me only errors. And it just helps you try to, filter through and see what's what. What we have next, backup and restore. So if we have this system, you know what, before that, let's go ahead and make a new user. So we're going to manage our users. Here's our existing user. We're going to make a new user called someone. Oops, we're going to spell that right. And we're going to have just a generic old password, and he's going to be a viewer. And this means that you could provide him with access to this. They could log in with those credentials and see limited stuff. But what we're going to do now is, let's make some changes here. Let's go into Emby number 2 here, and we're going to delete it. So that's gotten rid of that. And let's go into our users, and we are going to delete the user that we just made. So great, we've made these changes. We're back to one user and one server. Let's go ahead and make a backup of this system now. So we're going to back this up. It's downloaded a zip file. And let's go ahead and add another user in again. We'll call it whatever, doesn't really matter. I just want to show you what happens if we restore. So there's our user in there. Now, if we go back here and go to backup and restore and choose this backup file that just got downloaded and say upload and restore, it's going to go back to the state at which it was backed up. So we have one server still. And if we go into users, we only have our user. The other thing you can do is um, obviously log out. It's fairly self-explanatory, but you can do a panic. So let's do a panic. And a panic is going to reset everything back to the beginning. It's going to double confirm you. Are you absolutely sure? Great. And then it'll redirect you back to the setup because obviously there's nothing there. Well, what if you did this in error? If you already have a backup file, you can choose that file and go ahead and restore that system back to where it was. And we'll bring you back to the dashboard. It'll have you log in. We'll put in our username that we had, and we'll see that now we're back to the server that we had, and we have our user. So that's pretty much it. I'm working on some other stuff, but let me know if you think this is worthwhile. I'd love to have some people test it out. Um, for those of you who run multiple servers, I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, that's all for now.